Ghostface is back, but this time, New York is his playground. I'm Adam from Does It Hold Up, and
what's your favorite scary movie?
Sam, Tara, Chad, and Mindy are all back only 1 year after their last encounter with the masked killer. We also get Gale Weathers returning to help fight off a new and more brutal Ghostface. After nearly dying in Woodsboro, the Core Four, as they call themselves, have moved to New York to try and escape their past. But as we know from every other movie in this franchise, that's nearly impossible to do. When people start getting killed around them, they know it's only a matter of time until they become the targets. But something feels different this time around. The past atrocities committed by Ghostface are being used as clues to what is happening now. All the surviving characters from Scream 2022 are back, not including Sidney Prescott, as Neve Campbell has said she's done with the franchise. Melissa Barrera, who plays Sam, and Jenna Ortega, Tara, have a much better understanding of their characters this time around and put in a much better performance than anything we saw from them 1 year ago. Jenna Ortega in particular has grown into the role that was sidelined for much of the action in the previous movie. This time she takes center stage alongside Barrera, and both are intriguing and great characters to follow into the next few installments of Scream. Watching them kick ass over and over never seems to get tiring. Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown are back as twins Chad and Mindy respectively, but don't have much more to do than they did last time. I wish they would have given these characters more urgency and not made them both the same one note as they were before. Mindy in particular hasn't grown at all and is used only as her Uncle Randy ever was in the original two movies, a walking, talking exposition dump, as she goes over the new rules of horror and constantly complains how she didn't see things coming. She's not much of an expert if she can't see past the thinly veiled mystery happening in front of her. Courtney Cox is back as Gale, but the less said about her character in this one, the better. Ghostface has a new look as he terrorizes the group with an old beat-up looking mask, and this time, no one is safe. He will kill anyone he has to if it helps him to get to Sam and Tara. The kills are more intense and the bloodshed is more violent, but this didn't add anything new to what we have seen before. It felt like the franchise didn't know how to top previous movies, so it decided to be more gory, which will work for some, but may turn off others. The face under the mask isn't much of a secret, and most people might be able to figure it out early on. And if you don't figure it out before the reveal, no worries. You can be just as disappointed as the rest of us when the third act comes, and we find out what the reason behind the killings is this time. New York City is now the setting after every movie to date has been set in Woodsboro, California. Makes sense though. Move all the way across the country to a very populated city in an attempt to protect yourself. The new backdrop does help make the movie feel varied compared to what has come before, but the major problem is, when the action needs to take place, it's as if New York City is Woodsboro all over again. For the most densely populated city in America, it's rather empty when it makes sense for the story. However, they do use the city to their advantage, as an action set piece takes place in a bodega, on the subway, and near a college campus, plus more, all places that Woodsboro does not have. It's nice to see the franchise branch out and explore new areas, and it's one of the best things about this movie. Scream 6 also offers up a few new twists in the way it tells its story. We get a traditional Scream opening with a phone call, but it plays out completely different than what you would be expecting. Or does it? The opening few scenes are actually a great introduction into this new setting and immediately lets us know everything has changed. But honestly, don't think too hard about this story arc, because it might start to feel very similar to one of the previous movies. One of the biggest issues with this movie in particular is how much more they have to lie to trick the audience. There are moments in this movie where characters are in one setting, but in a completely new setting in the very next scene, even though that would be impossible for it to happen. The movie does this a few times so as to make you second guess who the killer may actually be. They also establish with the new rules that no one is safe and that anyone can be the killer, which makes the movie point the finger at everyone, including the survivors of Scream 5. But with everyone being a suspect, feels like no one is a suspect. You can't try and tell the audience that every single person on screen might be behind the mask. Not only is it implausible, it's completely impractical as we have connected to some of these characters. It's going to be interesting to see where this franchise goes next, as with each new installment, the story gets a little more overblown to try and top what came before. They are starting to feel like R-rated Scooby-Doo episodes, and not in the best way. Overall, we are going to give Scream 6 a B+, because it grew upon last year's Scream and set up what could be a very fun and interesting future. Scream 6 is currently scaring people in theaters, and even if the ending isn't very good, the journey to get there is. So maybe check this one out now. Let us know in the comments below where Scream 6 ranks in all the Scream movies for you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for more great content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep watching movies.